Well, hello, friends. This is the Story Break, and I'm Tommy Oates. And here's a story I like. Once upon a time, there was a man who kept praying to God to have a better understanding of what hell was like and what heaven was like. And so the Lord decided to answer that man's prayer. That night, that man went to sleep, and he had a dream. First dream, he dreamed he was in hell. Well, what hell looked like was a big old banquet hall, much to his surprise. He got to the door of the banquet hall and opened it, and there was pandemonium going on inside. Well, there was wonderful looking food and great smelling food all on this big table. People were sitting on either side of the table, but none of them were eating. The reason they weren't eating is because of the spoons. The spoons were great long things, and you could dip into the food, but it was so long you couldn't get your mouth to the end of it. And everybody was all frustrated. They'd dip into that food and they'd try to get it, and then they'd fling their spoons down, and they would complain and gripe and whine. And there was a lot of cursing going on there, and some people looked like they were starving to death, but nobody could get the food. And the man thought, well, this is an awful looking place, and I don't want to wind up here. And he woke up. Well, it didn't take him long to go back to sleep, and he woke up and realized he was in heaven. But much to his surprise, it was another big banquet hall, just like the other one. He opened the door and he could smell the sweetest and most wonderful smells. That table was just like in the other dream, full of food. There were people sitting on both sides of the table, just like in the other dream. But people were happy. They were smiling, they were laughing, they were singing. The only difference was they had these great long spoons, but instead of trying to feed themselves, everybody was feeding somebody else. And he said, I think I know at least one difference between heaven and hell. And that's the end of that story. Thanks for coming to the Story Break. See you next time.